You probably think of Kwik Trip as the friendly neighborhood gas station, with cheap gas, fresh food, clean bathrooms, and smiling employees behind the counter.
Many of KwikTrip's internal systems are back online following week-long service issues. However, the Kwik Rewards program remains offline. In a Facebook post, KwikTrip said it's working with a third party to investigate whether any customer's personal sensitive data was leaked.
But what if that perfect image wasn't the full story? What if the place you trust on every road trip and late night snack run is hiding some uncomfortable truths they'd rather you not know?
During this crisis, Kwik Trip is offering much needed raises to some employees.
Yeah, retail workers and support center workers are getting $2 more an hour for a few weeks. Store leaders and drivers are getting an extra $100 a week. Local 4's Leah Sims reports the company is doing it as a show of appreciation.
From damaged cars and creepy infestations to billing nightmares, employee complaints, and community backlash, we dug deep to uncover the things Kwik Trip doesn't advertise. Some of these stories are shocking, some are frustrating, and some might just change the way you see your next pit stop. Before you pull into that familiar red and white sign, you'll want to watch this video all the way through, because once you hear what we found, Kwik Trip will never look the same again.
Some changes coming to Kwik Trip leadership as longtime president and CEO Don Zitlow announces his retirement. After 22 years in the top spot and 52 with the company total, Zitlow's tenure concludes at the end of this year.
Car washes are supposed to be a quick convenience, not a financial disaster. But at Kwik Trip, multiple customers have come forward saying their cars were damaged during the automated wash. And what's worse is how the company allegedly handled their complaints. One driver said they entered the wash with a clean vehicle and came out with deep scratches on their hood and sides. Another reported that their side mirror was completely ripped off. Naturally, they reached out to Kwik Trip expecting the company to take accountability, only to be told that there was nothing wrong with the equipment and that the damage must have already been there. That's when it gets frustrating. Customers feel like they're hitting a brick wall. Even with photo evidence showing the damage was new, many have been denied reimbursement. Some even said they were told that Kwik Trip doesn't cover car wash damage at all, unless it can be proven that the machine malfunctioned, which is almost impossible for a regular person to prove. It's a classic case of your word against ours. And while not every car wash leads to problems, the fact that these complaints are happening and not being resolved fairly has created distrust. People go in hoping to save time and keep their car clean, but they come out stressed, confused, and sometimes hundreds of dollars short. If a brand wants to call itself customer friendly, denying clear damage and shutting down claims without real investigation doesn't match up. Thousands of Kwik Trip customers were caught off guard when the company suddenly announced it was dealing with a major cybersecurity breach. What started as a few technical hiccups quickly spiraled into a full-blown system disruption that knocked out everything from payment processing to their beloved loyalty program, Kwik Rewards. Customers who had been saving up points for free, food or gas suddenly couldn't access their accounts. Some couldn't even make purchases properly because the system was so unstable. And while Kwik Trip insisted no payment information had been compromised, many customers were left uneasy and in the dark for days. Updates were vague and infrequent, and the lack of clear communication only added to the panic. People began to wonder just how safe their personal information really was, especially considering how many folks use the same passwords and link their emails or phone numbers to rewards accounts. For a company that prides itself on speed and convenience, the outage revealed how vulnerable the system really is. Some users even took to social media to report strange activity on their accounts during the outage, though the company denied any connection. Still, it's hard to shake the feeling that if one attack could cause this much damage, what else could happen in the future? In a world where hackers are getting smarter every day, customers are starting to expect more than just an apology and a temporary fix. They want real transparency and protection. After all, when you swipe your card or enter your phone number at checkout, you're trusting the company with more than just your money. You're trusting them with your identity. Most people wouldn't expect a gas station to make a big deal out of something as simple as selling condoms, but at Kwik Trip, this one quiet policy has stirred up a lot more controversy than you might think. What many customers don't know is that Kwik Trip has a strict company-wide rule that bans the sale of condoms at all of its locations. That's not just a business choice, it's a personal belief held by the company's founding family, and it's written into the company's contracts. Even when Kwik Trip takes over another gas station chain, one of the first things they do is remove any inventory that includes condoms. Now, they claim this is about promoting a family-friendly image, but critics argue that it actually limits access to basic health and safety products that a lot of people rely on. Imagine being in a rural town where Kwik Trip is the only 24-hour store open, and you need something that should be simple and available, but it's not. People have called it outdated, out of touch, and even dangerous, especially for younger customers who might not have many other options nearby. Public health experts have weighed in, saying that access to safe products shouldn't be based on a company's private beliefs. Some communities have even pushed back, calling for the company to reconsider, but so far, Kwik Trip has stood its ground, refusing to budge on the issue. It raises a much bigger question about where personal values meet public service. Can a gas station chain decide what's right for everyone, or should they be expected to serve all customer needs, not just the ones that fit their values? In October 2024, customers at a Kwik Trip store in Waukesha, Wisconsin started reporting something seriously disturbing. Several people claimed they saw tiny insects crawling in the bathroom stalls, and soon, photos began circulating online. It wasn't long before the rumors were confirmed. The store had a bedbug infestation. Now, that's not something you'd expect to hear about at a gas station, especially one that markets itself as clean, safe, and reliable. Local health officials were called in and confirmed the presence of bedbugs in the restroom area, which prompted an immediate shutdown of the bathroom and pest control measures by the store. But by then, the damage was already done, not just to the store itself, but to the brand's reputation. Even though bedbugs don't carry diseases and technically aren't a food safety risk, the idea that they were crawling around in a public restroom where families stopped during road trips was enough to freak people out. One customer told a local reporter that she didn't even feel comfortable sitting in her car after using the bathroom, fearing she might bring some home. Another said he'd been a loyal customer for years, but wouldn't return to that location. Kwik Trip tried to contain the situation by treating the area and assuring customers it was an isolated case, but critics weren't convinced. They pointed out that if something like this happened once, it could happen again. And with hundreds of Kwik Trip locations across the Midwest, that's a thought that sticks with people. It's a reminder that even the cleanest looking places can have dirty secrets, and that appearances aren't always the full story. Kwik Trip has built a reputation as a dependable stop for fuel across the Midwest, but lately, some customers and even auto mechanics have been raising a red flag about the quality of gas being pumped into their vehicles. Several drivers have complained that after filling up at Kwik Trip, their cars began to run rough, stall unexpectedly, or trigger check engine lights. Some even went to mechanics and were told that water or other contaminants might have gotten into their fuel system. While Kwik Trip denies any wrongdoing and insists their fuel meets all industry standards, the complaints have started to gain attention online. In local Facebook groups and car forums, people are sharing eerily similar stories, strange engine noises, misfires, and sudden repairs right after a fill-up. One driver claimed his car broke down on the highway just hours after stopping at a Kwik Trip station, and the repair bill totaled over $600. Of course, not every incident can be traced back to bad fuel, and proving it can be tricky, unless a mechanic takes a fuel sample and has it tested. But the fact that these reports keep surfacing has made some customers uneasy. In response, Kwik Trip has pointed to its high turnover of fuel and strict supplier relationships, but that hasn't stopped the questions. If the problem isn't the gas itself, could it be the underground tanks, poor maintenance, or something else? Drivers just want peace of mind when they pull up to a pump. After all, gas isn't cheap these days, and no one wants to pay for a full tank and a full repair bill on the same day. Whether it's just coincidence or a bigger issue, the growing number of stories is enough to make people think twice. When you walk into a convenience store, especially one as popular as Kwik Trip, you expect friendly service and smooth transactions, but not everyone's experience lines up with that image. Over the years, several customers have come forward with stories of being treated rudely or unfairly by staff, and some of those incidents went way beyond just bad customer service. One of the most shocking stories involved a man who was accused of using a counterfeit $20 bill at a Kwik Trip location. He tried to explain that the bill had come straight from his bank, but the cashier refused to believe him and called the police. It was only after an investigation that it was confirmed the bill was real and the man had done nothing wrong. By then, he had already gone through public embarrassment, stress, and serious emotional distress. Other complaints have included staff. allegedly raising their voices, mishandling returns, or showing bias toward certain customers. And while these incidents might be isolated, they paint a picture that clashes with the company's family-friendly customer-first branding. Some customers have also said that when they called the corporate office to file complaints, they felt dismissed or ignored. It's one thing to have a bad day, but when multiple customers start saying the same thing, it becomes harder to ignore. Great customer service is one of the few things that can make or break a business in today's world. And for a chain like Kwik Trip that relies heavily on loyal, repeat customers, these types of stories can seriously damage trust. Whether it's about training, staffing, or how complaints are handled, it's clear that the customer experience at Kwik Trip isn't always what it's advertised to be. One of the more frustrating things Kwik Trip customers have reported isn't about the food or the fuel, it's about the way the company handles your credit card information and billing. In some cases, people signed up for Kwik Trip's branded credit card or payment services and ended up in financial messes they didn't see coming. One woman said she had her card on autopay and thought everything was fine until she got a notice saying her account had been sent to collections. She had moved and changed banks, but according to her, she never got any emails or phone calls about a failed payment. By the time she found out, her credit score had taken a major hit. Other customers have talked about confusing billing statements, unexpected fees, or long delays in updating payment methods. And the most unsettling part, some of these issues came right after Kwik Trip's 2023 cybersecurity breach, which already had customers worried about their data. Even though the company claimed that no financial info was stolen, these billing issues started to make people second guess how secure the system really is. Credit reporting agencies don't care if it was a mistake, they only see a late payment or an account in collections, and that can affect someone's ability to get a car loan, rent an apartment, or even get a job. It's a lot of damage over something that could have been avoided with better communication and transparency. Customers say what makes it worse is how hard it is to get a straight answer. They get bounced around between customer service reps or told to send emails that never get replies. In an age where everything is digital and your financial reputation can be ruined with one error, Kwik Trip's payment practices are raising serious concerns and people are demanding answers. While many people see Kwik Trip as a helpful and reliable neighborhood stop, not every community rolls out the welcome mat when a new location is proposed. In fact, in several towns across the Midwest, local residents have fought hard against new Kwik Trip stores being built near their homes or schools. One of the most heated examples happened in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where residents voiced strong concerns about a planned store on a busy intersection. Locals worried that the 24-hour business would increase traffic, attract late-night loitering, and even lower nearby property values. Others brought up environmental concerns, pointing out that Kwik Trip locations usually come with massive underground fuel tanks, which could pose long-term risk to groundwater if not properly maintained. At public hearings, some residents said they were tired of watching chain stores take over local spaces, claiming that once a Kwik Trip moves in, small-town charm disappears. The opposition got so intense in some areas that petitions were launched, and city council meetings were packed with angry neighbors demanding answers. And yet, in many of these cases, the stores were built anyway. Critics say the company uses its size and money to push projects through, even if locals aren't on board. It becomes a question of who really gets a say in shaping a town's future: the people who live there, or the corporations that want to move in. And while Kwik Trip insists it listens to community feedback, the repeated backlash suggests that many people feel steamrolled. A gas station might seem like a simple addition, but for some neighborhoods, it represents a bigger fight over how fast things are changing and who's really in control. While Kwik Trip often boasts about its positive workplace culture and employee benefits, not every worker is smiling behind the scenes. In recent years, more employees have started speaking out about what they say is the harsher reality of working under the company's spotless image. Former and current staff have shared stories about grueling schedules, being denied proper breaks, and intense pressure to keep up with constant customer traffic, all while being expected to maintain a cheerful attitude. One employee claimed they were expected to clean bathrooms, stock shelves, work the register, and prep food, all during the same shift, often with little help. Others mentioned that store managers were sometimes so focused on performance metrics that they would micromanage employees to the point of burnout. And while Kwik Trip does offer benefits like health insurance and 401k options, workers say those perks come at the cost of mental and physical exhaustion. Some said they were afraid to speak up because they didn't want to lose their jobs or be labeled as complainers. There are also claims that internal advancement is more about favoritism than performance, with some employees being passed over for promotions without clear reasons. This kind of environment doesn't just affect the people working there, it eventually spills over into how customers are treated. If employees are overworked and undervalued, it's hard for them to give top-tier service every day. Despite KwikTrip's public image as a great place to work, these insider reports suggest a different story, one where the cheerful uniforms and clean stores might be hiding a lot of silent frustration. And as more workers begin to share their stories online, it's getting harder for the company to keep that frustration out of the public eye. At first glance, KwikTrip seems like the kind of place where you know exactly what you're getting. Affordable prices, good food, and no surprises. But some customers are starting to notice that what's advertised on the shelves doesn't always match what shows up on their receipts. Pricing inconsistencies have become a quiet complaint among regulars, with some saying they've been overcharged multiple times for items that were clearly marked with a lower price tag. One shopper shared that they picked up a bag of chips listed at $2 for $3, only to be charged full price at the register. When they brought it up, the cashier said the sale must have expired, even though the sign was still up. Others said they noticed things like buy one get one free deals not being honored automatically, which means if you're not paying close attention, you're losing money. And while one pricing mistake might seem small, over time it adds up, especially for families trying to stick to a budget. The issue gets more frustrating when customers try to fix the error and are met with slow responses or brushed off entirely. People expect gas station shopping to be quick and hassle-free, not something that requires double-checking receipts or arguing over a 50-cent difference. What stings most is the feeling that the store is being careless with customer trust. In an age where every cent counts, clear and honest pricing isn't just good service, it's a basic expectation. For a company that prides itself on transparency and community values, letting price tags and registers fall out of sync sends the wrong message. If KwikTrip wants to keep its loyal base, making sure every price rings up exactly as advertised should be non-negotiable. So the next time you stop at KwikTrip, just remember that not everything is as perfect as it seems. If this gave you a new perspective, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned. And if you've ever had your own strange or frustrating experience there, drop it in the comments because we want to hear your story too.